You are listening to the Amplifying Leadership podcast, where we explore what great leadership really looks like through real stories, actionable takeaways, and expert conversations. I am Tara Lehman, founder and CEO of Amplifying Leadership, here to help you lead with intention and influence. Don't forget to join us on Thursday for Tip Thursday with Tara as well. For today, thank you for tuning in to today's guest episode. Today, I am welcoming Rich Kozak, founder and CEO of Rich Brands and brand architect and a marketing strategist. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. I will tell anyone who's listening to this episode, it is not what you think. At the end, you're going to go, that wasn't a normal branding person. So here we go.
There we go. I love that. Well, why don't we get a brief background of your leadership story, just so the audience, we are global here, so just so they know who you are a little bit.
Well, thank you. If you go back far enough, I studied marketing and international business and decided that's kind of wanted my career. I ended up being an exec VP at what I would call a high-tech ad agency, and it turned into a branding firm. We joined a partnership of agencies worldwide. So I had partners in 21 countries. Typically, they were 40 years or older B2B agencies who were really well established. And we all trained on the process of understanding a brand for where it was created, like in Germany, but they want to move and sell their test equipment in the United States. It's a whole different market here for medical. And so it's moving brands from country to country. I was addicted. It was great. I loved it. I handled some of our largest clients, and I was part of the team that brought in new clients. So I got the opportunity to share our vision with a potential new client company of how we saw the shift in the way they messaged and created relationships with the clients that they strategically wanted to develop. And we would listen to their, potential customers and talk to them about that. And they would lean across the table and we'd get their attention. So for the last 10, and that was 20 years. For the last 10 years, I have been working only with individuals who, and you see above me, it says Impact Driven Publishing is the name of my publishing company, and Rich Brands underneath it. For the last 10 years, I've been evolving individuals' brands, business, entity, and their personal brands with a deep clarity that is often missing. And the missing clarity means they fall flat. People bounce off. They don't get it. They don't understand what makes them what makes this brand different, what makes it outstanding. They don't attract their best fit clients because they're using language that sends wrong signals. And so with deep clarity, energetic longevity, because I want them to do what they love for more decades, and with divine purpose. This process sharpens any business brand, but it also builds a platform that enables people to step into why they're really here. Mm-hmm. And that's a dimension that our best clients all have. They know they're not done. They know there's more. They're not sure how to get through that locked gate to the next level. Mm-hmm. And branding done right, all the steps, it's a process. If you leave steps out of a process, it doesn't turn out well. So all the steps helps them access through an authenticity so that everything they say and do aligns with the impacts they clearly see having. It is wonderful work. And frankly, I believe God put the desire for impacts in human beings. And so I believe it's God's work. And I've been doing this, Tara, for 50 years. That's not a typo, 50. I'll type in the chat if you want to, 50, okay? And people say like, dude, you should be like on a beach or like on a yacht. I'm on Zoom. So if you're listening to this, take advantage of it. It's going to be really hard to find this voice and this straight talk in the world of branding because it's mostly jargon and entrancing Milton model NLP, stuff.
Right. Yep.
In that, I don't use it. I use it to listen. All right. Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. And I want to look at this because obviously our audience is business owners and leaders. So I want to bring this to the leadership lens. And how does impact branding in our own personal, because it's more about personal branding, how does that actually help leaders and organizations? So I want to look at it through that lens, now that you've explained a bit about what you do.
Well, thanks for asking that question. Actually, you're the first one who's ever asked me that, and I've been on hundreds of podcasts, so great. And so, how when we talk about what's missing in leadership, one of those foundational elements is often, that we put on the, top 5 list is often they don't share their vision with their people.
Yes, I talk a lot about my clients about that.
But let's go back to, to that video you saw earlier that said clarity is the missing piece. What if the vision isn't clear? What if the vision is clear in the head of the leader, but the way they communicate it isn't? What if the vision isn't communicated clearly and transfer energy to their people? It's certainly not going to be translated with energy to their target customers. That's where the power of doing all the steps of branding done right and making sure you end up with the things a brand must have to come alive. And 2 of them are consistency across the board. And we can go into that if you want. And another one that's absolutely critical is unique language that transfers energy. You don't transfer energy, people are going to bounce off. But you do transfer energy. You say what you're outstanding at, the results you create, the outcomes you envision in ways that others don't. And here's the difference. People either go, if you say it, in ways that are confusing or there's no clarity, and they'll go, oh, that's nice. Yeah. But if you say it in ways that transfer energy, their head tilts and they go, I got to go, but can I have your card? It's like, come alive is real. And it's, I don't want to call it simple, although it is. It's a part of the process. It's steps. And part of that is unique language that transfers energy. So when a leader shares vision, boy, let's make sure they really do their homework. And when they open their mouth, when their brand is ready to open its mouth, that what comes out is impactful and attracting.
So how do they know how to do that? Oh, sorry.
They don't. I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah.
In my big agency days of the 20 years where I had partners in 21 countries with other agencies, and we were moving brands from country to country, many of the CEOs, even many of the vice presidents that we had to deal with, their background was finance or legal or accounting or industry. They were from construction or engineering. They're not marketing. And so they automatically think branding is like ooey, hairy, fooey, creative.
The logo and yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what, and even if you're listening to this, you think branding is what you think it is. And the world sells you marketing services constantly. And so you'll think branding is what they tell you it is. But we're going to clarify that. Tara's she's going to be wise enough to ask me, hey, look, in 2 sentences, make it clear to us what is a brand and what is branding and what's the difference between branding and marketing. So we are so clear on that. Now we can move forward. So
all right, go ahead. Why don't you define that for our leaders listening today?
Oh my gosh. That is so brilliant of you to ask me. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm talking to you who's listening to this right now. Your brand, and that could be your name, if you are a solopreneur and you are the brand, or it could be an entity that you've created. Many of our clients have a company, but it's their company. And so they're the champion of the brand, but then they're the visionary founder of their company. So they're also an individual. So there might be 2 brands. It might be you personally, it might be your entity. It doesn't matter. Okay. Your brand is not what you think it is. Now, I'm trained in NLP, and the human brain cannot accept a negative. So it's crazy for me to start with a negative and say, your brand is not what you think it is. Let's say what it is. Your brand is a perception. but it's not your perception. That's the important point. It's the perception in the mind of your most important target audiences, whom you can clearly see the impacts that your work, your business, your gift, your calling can have on them, and you really want to make those impacts on them. Their mind, the perception in their mind is your brand. Not the perception in the minds of people 25,000 miles away who love to pet your asshole. If they're not relevant to your business, it doesn't matter. Your brand is the perception that you shape in the minds of your most important target audiences that you clearly see impacting and you really want to impact. You want to attract them by doing the steps that make sure your brand comes alive and attracts. You will bake clarity into the brand that will attract way more types of target audiences than you wrote down. You might write down 2, right?
Yeah.
So there it is. So branding is shaping a consistent perception in the minds of your most important target audiences. And your brand is a perception, and branding is shaping that. A consistent perception. It has to be consistent. If it's this today we say it this way, tomorrow we say it that way, you're going to get the 6 bad consequences, including confusion and misinformation.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to our leaders and business owners out there, and they're trying to connect the vision with their team, self-reflection is something I tell a lot of leaders that they should be doing. Is there any really questions we should be asking ourselves to ensure that whatever we feel our purpose is aligning with the vision and is aligning with the team and is aligning with that brand? Is there anything we should be asking ourselves during that reflection while we create this?
I from the work I've done over 10 years and I rarely use extreme words like always. When all the steps are done, it always works. It is based on the heart, what's in the heart, the impacts you clearly see making. Everything the brand says and does is based on that. So it's all impact driven. My best suggestion to answer your question is any leader should ask themselves, what impacts do you clearly see having on your most important target audiences when your brand is thriving? I don't care whether it's a manufacturing company, whether you're integrating software, whether you're an expert, therapist that helps men who've been affected by trauma, get over it and live fulfilling lives, whether your target is couples who are about to retire or a young person who's choosing a career. It doesn't matter whom your targets are. And all those, by the way, are clients of ours. And, it's all over the map. It's technical. It's not technical. It's personal. It's soft, touchy feely. It's kindness. It's, it's whatever it is. Mm-hmm. As a leader, the clarity of your vision will come alive when you paint a picture with words of the impact you clearly see for the target audience you're talking to, or the target audience you're talking about to your people. Saying, if you're talking to your people and you're saying, hey, because we're going in these directions and because we're making these decisions, because this is the culture we're building, because these are the technical things we're doing, because of whatever, here's the vision we see. Here's what we see for them, those target customers. Here's what we see. The words you use after, here's what we see for them. Or if you're speaking to a target customer, here's what I see for you. Their antennae are going to go, whoop, and they're going to be listening. And if you tell them you see an outcome they don't even see for themselves, even if they do, if you see it and you've painted a clear picture, you've become a magnet. Otherwise, they might bounce off.
Mm-hmm. It's also part of culture, isn't it, within a team, when we can align, but the people that don't align, maybe you're right, they bounce off, and that's okay because we don't always align.
Are you talking about the team under a leader?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent point. So in language of what we do every day, part of the process, once we look at the impacts that we clearly see making, and they go higher and higher on individual types of people or businesses or whatever the target audience is, well, we write the impacts down and we ask the question, hey, to make that impact on that person or that entity, what characteristic must the brand become and get credit for? Well, if you have to be empathetic, or you have to be technologically centric, or you have to be values driven, whatever those are, you must get credit for them to make your impacts faster. There are 4 kinds of those characteristics, and let's call the category number 1 heart characteristics. They're be like trustable, like caring, like empathetically listening, like those kind of, and they differ by every individual, but you only hire people who share your heart characteristics. You know, because you can't go like, okay, everybody, tomorrow we're going to have integrity training. I'm sorry. You can't teach those hard characteristics.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know, and you're in the training business, so like, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you have to hire them. And I have a client who literally prepares executive teams for strategic transformation that they know they have to undergo in their industry. And one of the hangups was, how do we hire today to get the people that we need for the culture we need tomorrow? Yeah. How do we know we're hiring the right people? That's a serious and real question. And he got into creating an AI-based assessment program that helped with that. To help answer that question, how do we hire today the people we need for the culture we must have tomorrow? It's like, it's seriously real. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm wondering if you want to sum up with either a tip for our audience or like a strategy or two that maybe we haven't shared that you feel is really important for our episode today.
Well, I have a final thing I'd like to say, and you can ask me, so what's the last thing you want to say, and I'll say it. But I will share a couple of things that people kind of go like, oh, I didn't, nobody ever told me that. Okay. 2 things. Ready? Number 1, let's talk about messaging. Your message hierarchy. The things that come out of your mouth that are statements that you say matter-of-factly from a place of knowingness. The number 1 message, the most important message that your target audiences need to hear first should be on the website, on the homepage, right at the top. Should be on a business, anything that's an entry portal to the brand. That message overcomes the number 1 barrier. The number 1 barrier is that misperception or misunderstanding or attitude or that prevents your target audience from knowing you're the one to let you in to make your highest level impacts that you can. It's important that your message hierarchy start with overcoming the number 1 barrier, which means you got to discern what it is. And that's huge. So write that down. That's a writer downer. The other one is, how do you name things? So we do a half day every month, and you should attend. Okay, I'm just telling you, it'll change your life. It'll change your business. It's amazing. It's a half day. It costs $97, but it should be $1,500. And one of the things we teach there is how to name things. So I'm going to give you the 5 acid tests of an excellent brand name, but this could be a brand name for your weekend retreat, or it could be your book title, or it could be the name of your umbrella brand. Says what it does. Number 1, has legs, which means it has lots of places to go. You know, it's not just a one-trick pony. It's easy to say, easy to spell, easy to remember. You've got to meet all 5 or you fail. You got to start again. You don't get an A+. I'm sorry about the fail thing. You don't get an A+. And if you're an A+ and you want to get an A+, you got to do all 5. And nobody's going to tell you those things. They're going to sell you creative hoo-ha. You need to know that naming things is powerful. So what you name your book and your subtitle of your book and what you name your weekend retreat or what you name your year-long mastermind, whatever you're doing, are powerful. And it's not trivial. And you can't be cute. Cute does not work. Okay. Okay. No matter how many stupid ads you see on TV, cute does not work. Okay. And so those are writer downers, and you're welcome. How's that? Because
those are great final tips for our audience. And I'm wondering if they do want to learn more about the steps that you talk about, or they want to chat with you more about this, how can they get a hold of you?
richbrands.org is the website. RICHBRANDS, Rich, my name, brands, what we do, .org. Right on the homepage, it says two things. Talk to Rich for 30 minutes. If you're ready to tell me about you and hear my reflections of the possibilities for your highest level impacts on Umbrella Brand, get on. I'm on Zoom. Take advantage of it. I don't charge for that. That's stupid of me, but that's what I do. So just get on. All right. I'm not stupid, by the way. So
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, And the other thing it says is download the free brand frequently asked question videos.
Okay.
Right there on the homepage. So do both of those, and you'll connect with me. And look, I said to Tara, we do two free 60-minute master classes every month. One is called, and you type it in, type it into a browser, Brand First, FIRST, brandfirstorDie.com is the first one. And that's where it talks about you must evolve the way you're perceived. You'll get it by the time we're done. It's very quick. And the other is called Brand Power Hour. And actually, it's tonight. Brand Power Hour, we talk about the 4 things a brand must have or it will fall flat. And at least 6 or 7 things that brands do all the time that hurt them. And you have to stop them right now. So take advantage of them. BrandfirstorDie.com and brandpowerhour.com. And we'll talk to you. And I'll leave you with this. This is like top level importance. It goes way above Tara's head and my head both. It goes like this. Hey, living, and I'm talking to you, you're listening to this episode, living and fulfilling your highest impacts, your divine purpose, is why you were created. Now is the time to evolve the brand you must become to live your purpose. This is Rich Kozak.
Thank you so much, Rich, and really big insights today. I appreciate you being on the show.
My pleasure, Tara.
Of course, we thank you, our listeners, as well. We hope you gained some valuable insights or maybe some key takeaways from today's conversation with Rich. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing our podcast with others or leaving us a rating. It's a couple of the best ways to support the podcast and help us and our guests, like Rich, reach even more leaders with meaningful stories, tips, and of course, advice. If you are looking to clarify leadership priorities, build strong teams, or empower those around you, I'm here to help. Explore our solutions, offers, and resources at amplifyingleadership.ca, because leadership is better when we do it together.